Today is World Mental Health Day of 2023, and I'm going to be talking about a topic, one of my favorite topics, which is love. I love love when it's going great, but when it goes downhill, well, it doesn't feel so great. So I've had my heart broken a couple of times, and I'm sure I've broken a couple of hearts, but it never stops me from wanting to love and be loved. And I'm talking about that grown up adult, intimate, love you, baby, love you too, texting you all day type love. That's the love I'm talking about. Not the, yes, I love you, grandma. Yes, I love my dog. Talking about the real love, the real deal. Unfortunately, that real deal, that real love can get you into some sticky situations. Can almost make you go crazy if you let it. And some people have. Some people have made grave decisions over love, and there's no going back. So then there's a lot of regret. In today's story, I want to talk about a young man, a young 25-year-old black man from Akron, Ohio, Jayland Walker. And in June of 2022, he lost his life. Now you're probably wondering, what does this have to do with love? Well, love has been known to do many things. It has caused people to lie. It has caused people to take their lives. It has started wars. And of course, it's made babies. I mean, how else would you or I be here, right? So, Jayland Walker of Akron, Ohio, met his love at age 15 in high school. They were due to get married, they had been engaged, and they were wedding planning. Their families were happy, and they were very much looking forward to starting a family. Unfortunately, May of 2022, Ramisha Beasley was killed in a tragic car accident. The vehicle that she was in was rear-ended, and she was ejected from the car onto the interstate and run over by a semi-truck. And it's not known if the semi-truck stopped or not. But Jayland received a call in the middle of the night that his fiance had been tragically killed. Now put yourself in Jayland's shoes just for 2 seconds. Doesn't feel too good, does it? As a matter of fact, he probably screamed, lost his mind, but whatever it was he did, it wasn't nice, and he got to that hospital where his fiance lay, lifeless, as soon as he could. Now, when we lose people we love, it all depends on the circumstances. Some die of old age, some die of terminal illnesses, some die old, some die young. In Jayland Walker's fiance's case, she died very young. Not what was set out for a couple that was due to be married very, very soon. Now, the downside to this is that no one knows why Jayland did the things that he did. And by that, I mean he ran a minor traffic sign or light, knowingly that police were there to see him. And instead of stopping, he kept going, and it turned into a chase. It was reported that Jayland shot back at law enforcement with a handgun, and then he later jumped from his vehicle, and there was a foot chase. At this point, law enforcement were chasing Jayland until he couldn't run any farther. Whatever the facts were at this point, again, we'll never know. But for some reason, these 8 law enforcement found Jayland a threat, and he was shot 46 times. By the coroner's report, he had 46 bullet entrance wounds to his body. Now, I've shot guns before. I've been in the military. I go to the shooting range. I have a CCW. And I have a handgun, and it's registered. And I've watched a lot of movies. And anyone can tell you that it doesn't take that many bullets to take someone down who is seemingly being a threat, especially if all they've done was run a minor traffic sign. Now, if he did shoot back at police in his vehicle, yes, that's a warrant for a chase. But is it warranted to be shot 46 times by 8 law enforcement? If you do the math and do the division, did they all unload a clip? Did they unload half the clip? Regardless, Jayland lost his life. And his parents and her parents, his fiance's parents, instead of planning a wedding, they planned 2 funerals 2 months apart. Now, on the day in question, Jayland was fine to his family. His behavior was normal. They said he was fine. He wasn't acting erratically. And when he left the home, they felt like he was okay. But he wasn't. 30 days after your fiance, the love of your life, was tragically killed, and you're okay? In all the years that I've been practicing, I've never met an individual who was okay after 90 days of losing a loved one. So 30 days is a stretch. I don't know if Jayland sought out help. I don't know if help was given to Jayland. Maybe he refused it. Maybe he didn't know it existed. Or maybe he just thought that he would be and could be okay, and put that 100% on our faces as we often do, and go about life as usual. Grief and loss are very tricky. One moment you feel like you're fine, the next moment you feel like you just want to jump off a bridge. How do I know this? Well, I've lost a lot of many people in my lifetime, especially family members. And the pain is excruciating. I work with individuals and families who have lost loved ones, and the pain is excruciating. Now, while going to counseling and seeking out grief support will not bring back the people you love, it will give you some perspective on how you can continue to live your life. You still have a life to live, and there's no giving up. Mental health counseling is for many, many things. But the one thing is for some type of loss. When people walk into my office, they've lost something. They've lost a relationship, maybe a breakup. Maybe they've lost their health. They got a health diagnosis. Maybe they've lost a pet. Maybe they just feel like they've lost their mind because they're going through something age related, a midlife crisis or menopause. But they all come in suffering with some sort of loss. It doesn't always have to be a diagnosis. There is much support and many resources on grief and loss. You can recover, but you'll always miss the one that you lost. There is no expectation that you're going to feel better in 30 days or 60 days or 90 days. Which leads me to another point. Life goes on. That's what people tell you. Well, you'll get over it. Life goes on. I remember people telling me after my mother died when I was 14, oh, just go back to school and forget about it. You'll be okay. I was never okay. But I kept going. And that's why I'm here talking with you today. But another important fact that has to be addressed is law enforcement and how they treat individuals as far as being a threat and ending their lives. I understand to all law enforcement that your job is to protect and to serve. But not all need to be protected in a lethal manner. Maybe understanding via human behavior may begin to change the outcomes of love stories and save lives of people who are just misunderstood and diagnosed with a mental health disorder. Not in everyone acting erratically is a threat, but they do need some help. If you have never lost anyone in your lifetime, there will come a day that you will. And when that day comes, I pray that you reach out for help from family members, from professional providers. Ask for help, but do not go under the misguidance of your non-logical mind at this point when you're very emotional and think that you can get through it. Now your job's going to give you, 2 days off? Pay or no pay? They may not give you any days off. And that's a sore subject. If someone lost a child, 2 days off work is not going to do it. And I hope that employers will begin to understand that the ones that they employ would do much better work if they are helped in circumstances as these. The 8 law enforcement that was involved in Jayland Walker's death on August of this year were not charged, and they were not to be prosecuted. This is just one of many, many, many stories we hear of the Black community, for the most part, that it happens way too often. So either it's learn human behavior or learn cultural human behavior. Are we saying Blacks act differently than whites or Hispanics or Asians? Everyone acts different from everyone, depending on many circumstances. But being targeted is another story. To the families of Jayland and Jamisha, my heart goes out to you. And I hope that if you have not yet sought help, that you will. And retain resources to help you to begin to heal. Life will go on for you. And Jayland and Jamisha will always be in your hearts. And they'll always be alive in your hearts. In a word, there are 3 things that last forever: faith, hope, and love. But the greatest of them all is love. And that's from 1 Corinthians 13. I can't take credit for that one. You have been watching Mentally in Tune from your favorite mental health therapist, Bernadette Joy Graham. I hope that you will continue to tune in to future topics on mental health so that we can reduce the stigma and educate those who are not knowledgeable or even trying to understand the topics in mental health, because there are many. Remember, keep your mind right and everything will fall into place. And be well. For more information and resources, click like below and subscribe. And I look forward to hearing comments. And you may reach me at my website at www.bjgrahamcounseling.com. Again, that's www.bjgrahamcounseling.com. From the Glass City, Toledo, Ohio, I'll see you next time.